Lately, I've been seeing that there's a minimum number of jars that you can can in your pressure canner. They're saying a load must consist of 2 quarts or 4-pint jars. Is that true? You know, myths abound or half-truths on the internet. I mean, look what I found out when I researched iodized salt in canning. I got a link to that video if you are interested. So I was determined to find, is it true that there is a minimum number of jars that you can have in your pressure canner? But I couldn't find anything on the National Center for Food Preservation site or in my All-American Canner manual. So where was the source for this information? Hey my resilient citizens, it's Potpourri here, and I have another canning video for you. If you're not a subscriber, please click on the subscribe button and click on that little bell icon below if you want to receive notice every time I post a new video. Now back to the canning facts. At first I thought maybe it's a misunderstanding because in 2015 the National Center for Food Preservation did post this. They were stating that there is a minimum size for a pressure canner. It must hold at least 4-quart jars. Quote, the USDA does not have recommended processes for canning in a small pressure cooker. The recommendation for using USDA pressure processes for low acid foods is to use a canner that holds at least 4-quart jars standing upright on the rack with a lid in place. The research for USDA pressure processes for vegetables and meat products was conducted in pressure canners that are most similar to today's 16-quart or larger pressure canners. However, in 2016, when this book came out, and this is the all-new book of canning and preserving, on page 274, at the top under simple 1-jar meals, it states, note, to ensure proper pressure and temperature is achieved for safe processing, you must process at least 2 quarts or 4-pint jars at the same time. Okay, pretty specific here in the Ball book. But then, why doesn't the Center for National Food Preservation state that? Well, I was talking to my friend Linda at Tuliloo Creates, and she is a certified master canner, and she hadn't really heard of that either. So she decided to call Ball and see what they had to say.
Hey, Mary Ellen. Thanks for asking me your question about the minimum canner load requirement that you found, I think, at the Ball website. Fresh Preserving. Anyway, so when you first asked me about it, you just asked me about that minimum load requirement. And I thought to myself, that must have something to do with temperature and pressure. I did not know further in the book that it says that, but it must have something to do with that. But I wanted to know more. So I did reach out to Newell Brands, which is Ball. And the person I spoke to initially thought we were looking at an older website. But when she saw that it was on the current website, her explanation to me was simply that that's how they had done the research. Well, I am like, I want to know more. And that's just what she could explain, was that that's how they had done their research, and that would be the minimum load that they would recommend, or require. So I did do a little bit more looking. I came across the Iowa State University publication that says in 2016 Ball came up with these minimum load requirement, and that is to effectively reach the proper pressure and temperature, which is what I initially thought. That's fine and good. My concern is that when you have a new canner, and I explained to the person at Ball that maybe if they're the only place I've ever seen this, and because when I look at a recipe, it'll tell you how much that'll make, and I don't think I've ever seen a recipe for anything really that makes less than that. So you would always have that much. But and why would you want to do a pressure canning process with, you're not going to get more than 4 pints or 2 quarts out of something? I wouldn't even want to put the effort in. But my concern is there's so many new canners out there that are trying to learn, and they're trying to get information, and they may look at that and think, oh, I wish I could pressure can. But wait, I've got that thing in my kitchen that my grandma gave me, and it'll hold 4-pint jars, and it's like a pressure thing. So then they end up going in there and cutting a recipe down so that they only make 4 pint jars that will fit in that thing their grandma gave them, which is ultimately a cooker. And you know, a pressure cooker is not made to can in. It will not, it's just not. Um, and so I feel like that can be misleading. And I did suggest to the person at Ball that they want to put something in there that helps prevent that. But until you pointed it out to me, I had never seen it. And honestly, I've never seen a recipe that's going to have you produce less than that. So there's that. So anyway, thank you so much for, including me in on this thought process because it's fascinating to me. But anyway, thanks a lot, and I'll talk to you later.
So then I had to wonder, is it a rule because that's the only way Ball tested recipes, or is it because of the safety of the canning process itself? So I decided to email the National Center for Food Preservation, and I received the following response. The new rule is a pressure canner load must consist of at least 2-quart jars or 4-pint jars at a time. This is to ensure proper pressure and temperature is achieved for safe processing. Okay, so it is needed for safety. So I thanked them, but I asked, why isn't this on their website? I was informed they were in the process of updating their website, and so soon it would be. So I was kind of excited. They're going to update their website. But then I talked to another fellow canner who had contacted them about something else some time ago, and she said that's what she was told. So when the site is actually being updated, I don't know. So the bottom line is the minimum that you can in a pressure canner, you can can 1 in water bath canning if you want, but in a pressure canner is 2-quart jars or 4-pint jars because of safety. Now, for most of us, this isn't going to impact our canning because I don't know about you, but I have to haul out my All-American pressure canner, which is pretty darn heavy, get it all the way here to the cooktop. I'm going to definitely can more than 3-pint jars at a time. But I was just interested why, if it's been over 6 years, the National Center for Food Preservation doesn't state that on their website. I'm kind of frustrated because this is the one site that we all go to that is supposed to be verified for canning safely for our families. So let's hope they update the site soon, and do remember there is a minimum. As always, search for the truth and share the knowledge. Thank you. And I have other canning facts if you're interested, and this is an ongoing video series.